Have you ever noticed how quickly a beautiful day can disappear? Nothing changes outside. The sun is still shining, the people around you are the same, the opportunities in front of you have not vanished. Yet suddenly, a storm begins to form within. Your chest tightens, your thoughts race, your heart starts beating a little faster, and before you know it, anxiety has taken over the stage of your mind. In those moments, anxiety feels powerful. It feels convincing. It feels personal. It whispers something is wrong. It tells you that you must solve everything right now. It convinces you that every uncertainty is a threat, every challenge is a disaster, and every uncomfortable feeling is evidence that you are losing control. Most people spend their entire lives fighting this voice. They try to outrun it. They try to suppress it. They try to distract themselves from it. They fill every empty moment with noise, entertainment, work, scrolling, worrying, planning, and overthinking. But what if the very thing we are fighting is not the real problem? What if anxiety is not the enemy? What if the real struggle begins the moment we believe every thought that enters our mind? Think about that for a moment. Imagine standing beside a busy highway. Hundreds of cars speed past every minute. Some are beautiful, some are damaged, some are loud, some are quiet. Yet you do not chase every vehicle. You do not jump into the road because a particular car appears. You simply watch. Now imagine treating your thoughts the same way. Thoughts arrive, thoughts leave. Some are useful, some are ridiculous, some are inspiring, some are frightening, but they are all passing through. The problem begins when we stop watching and start riding. One anxious thought appears. What if I fail? Instead of watching it pass, we climb inside. Then another thought arrives. What if everything goes wrong? We climb inside that one too. Soon we are traveling at full speed through a landscape of fear that does not even exist. The body responds as if the imagined danger were real. Stress hormones flood the system. Muscles tighten. Sleep becomes difficult. Concentration disappears. The mind creates more fearful stories, and the cycle continues. Many people live this way every day. They wake up anxious. They work anxious. They eat anxious. They sleep anxious. Not because their lives are falling apart, but because they have unknowingly become prisoners of their own mental narratives. I once heard a story about a man who carried a backpack everywhere he went. At first, the backpack was light. It contained only a few stones. But every time something painful happened, he added another stone. Someone criticized him, a stone. A relationship ended, another stone. A mistake at work, another stone. A disappointment, another stone. Years passed. The backpack became heavier and heavier. His shoulders ached. His back hurt. Walking became exhausting. One day, someone asked him a simple question. Why don't you put the backpack down? The man looked confused. He had carried it for so long that he forgot he had a choice. Many of us are carrying emotional backpacks just like that. We carry old fears, old regrets, old insecurities, old stories about who we are supposed to be. Then we wonder why life feels so heavy. The truth is that anxiety often feeds on resistance. The more we fight our inner experience, the stronger it becomes. Imagine trying to hold a beach ball underwater. At first it seems possible. You push it down with all your strength. But eventually your arms become tired. The pressure increases. And when you can no longer hold it, the ball explodes back to the surface with even greater force. This is exactly what happens when we spend our lives resisting uncomfortable emotions. We tell ourselves we should not feel afraid, we should not feel uncertain, we should not feel vulnerable. So we push those feelings down. But feelings do not disappear simply because they are ignored. They wait, they gather energy, and eventually they return, demanding attention. The surprising path to freedom is not resistance, it is acceptance. Acceptance does not mean liking anxiety. Acceptance does not mean surrendering your dreams. Acceptance does not mean becoming passive. Acceptance means allowing reality to be what it is in this moment. It means saying, I feel anxiety right now, and that is okay. Those words may sound simple, but they contain extraordinary power, because the moment you stop fighting the feeling, you create space around it. You realize that anxiety is something you are experiencing. It is not who you are. The sky is not damaged by the storm passing through it. Likewise, your awareness is not damaged by anxious thoughts passing through your mind. There is a deeper part of you that remains untouched, a silent observer, a steady presence, a witness to every thought, every emotion, every experience. You have felt this presence before. You felt it when you watched a sunset and forgot your worries for a moment. You felt it when you became completely absorbed in music. You felt it during moments of profound gratitude, love, or wonder. In those moments, the mental noise disappeared, and what remained was peace. Not because life became perfect, but because you stopped arguing with life. The greatest transformation begins when you understand a simple truth. You do not have to control every thought to experience peace. You only have to stop believing that every thought deserves your attention. Think about how much energy people spend trying to control the uncontrollable. They worry about tomorrow. They replay yesterday. They imagine endless worst-case scenarios. Yet the vast majority of those fears never happen. And even when challenges do arise, human beings are far more resilient than they realize. History is filled with ordinary people who survived extraordinary difficulties. They faced loss, they faced uncertainty, they faced failure, yet they discovered strengths they never knew they possessed. The same strength exists within you. The same resilience exists within you. The same capacity for peace exists within you. Anxiety may tell you otherwise. It may tell you that you are fragile. It may tell you that you cannot handle what is coming. But anxiety is not a prophet. It is simply a voice. And voices do not deserve authority merely because they are loud. The next time anxiety arrives, try something different. Instead of running away, pause. Take a slow breath. Notice the sensation in your body. Notice the thoughts moving through your mind. And quietly whisper to yourself, this is just a moment. Because it is. No emotion lasts forever. No storm lasts forever. No mental state lasts forever. Everything changes, everything moves, everything passes. The remarkable thing about life is that peace is not something you create. Peace is what remains when you stop creating unnecessary conflict within yourself. And perhaps that is the message we need most in a world that constantly encourages us to chase, fix, control, and worry. Perhaps true freedom is not found in controlling life. Perhaps true freedom is found in trusting life enough to let it unfold. The moment you realize that you are not your fear, not your worry, not your anxious thoughts, a new possibility opens before you. You begin to discover that beneath all the noise, beneath all the stories, beneath all the fears, there is a quiet strength that has been there all along. A strength that no circumstance can destroy. A strength that no opinion can diminish. A strength that anxiety itself cannot touch. And when anxiety hits again, as it inevitably will, remember this. You do not have to defeat it. You do not have to run from it. You do not have to believe it. Simply notice it. Allow it. Watch it pass. Then return your attention to the miracle of being alive in this moment. Because life is not happening in the fearful stories of your mind. Life is happening here. Life is happening now. And the more fully you step into this moment, the more you discover that the peace you have been searching for was never somewhere else. It was waiting within you all along. And once you begin to understand this, something extraordinary starts to happen. The world outside may remain exactly the same, but your relationship with it changes completely. Most people spend years believing that peace will arrive after everything is fixed. They tell themselves, when I earn more money, I'll relax. When I find the right relationship, I'll be happy. When my problems disappear, I'll finally feel free. But life has a fascinating way of challenging that belief. The promotion arrives, and a new worry takes its place. The relationship begins, and new fears emerge. One goal is achieved, only to be replaced by another. The finish line keeps moving. The mind keeps negotiating. And peace remains somewhere in the future. But what if peace was never meant to be a future destination? What if peace is a choice available in this moment? Think about how often we postpone our happiness. We postpone it until the next achievement. We postpone it until the next opportunity. We postpone it until circumstances align perfectly. Yet life was never designed to be perfect. Life is movement. Life is uncertainty. Life is change. Trying to create a future free from uncertainty is like trying to stop the ocean from producing waves. The waves are not a mistake. They are the nature of the ocean. Likewise, uncertainty is not a mistake. It is the nature of life. When we stop expecting certainty from an uncertain world, we stop creating unnecessary suffering. Consider a child learning to ride a bicycle. The child falls, gets up, falls again, gets up again. There is no embarrassment, no identity crisis, no endless analysis. The child simply experiences the process. But somewhere along the journey to adulthood, many of us lose that natural wisdom. We become terrified of falling. We become obsessed with avoiding mistakes. We convince ourselves that failure means something about our worth, and suddenly every challenge becomes threatening. Every risk feels dangerous. Every uncertainty feels unbearable. Yet growth has always required uncertainty. Every meaningful chapter of your life began with not knowing. You did not know how things would unfold. You did not know whether you would succeed. You did not know whether people would approve. And yet life moved forward. Imagine if you had refused every opportunity that carried uncertainty. Imagine if you never spoke to new people because they might reject you. Imagine if you never pursued a dream because you might fail. Imagine if you never expressed your true self because someone might criticize you. The very experiences that shaped your life would never have happened. The truth is that uncertainty is not standing in the way of your life. Uncertainty is part of your life. And when you stop fighting it, you begin to discover a remarkable freedom. A freedom that comes from trusting yourself rather than trusting circumstances. Because circumstances will always change. Markets rise and fall. Relationships evolve. Opportunities come and go. Health fluctuates. The world moves in unpredictable ways. If your inner peace depends on everything outside of you remaining stable, then peace will always remain fragile. But if your peace comes from your ability to remain present, regardless of what happens, then nothing can easily take it away. There is a story about two sailors caught in a storm. The first sailor spent the entire night screaming at the wind. He cursed the waves. He demanded that the storm stop. He exhausted himself, fighting reality. The second sailor did something different. He respected the storm. He adjusted the sails. He stayed alert. He worked with the conditions rather than arguing against them. Both sailors faced the same storm, but only one of them suffered twice. Many people are fighting mental storms in exactly the same way. They are not only experiencing fear, they are fighting the fact that fear exists. They are not only experiencing uncertainty, they are fighting the fact that uncertainty exists. And that second battle often creates more pain than the original experience. The moment you stop demanding that life be different before you can be okay, you reclaim an incredible amount of energy. That energy can then be used for living, for creating, for connecting, for loving, for growing. One of the greatest misconceptions about anxiety is that it means something is wrong with you. People often believe that calm individuals never experience fear, but that is not true. The strongest people feel fear. The wisest people feel uncertainty. The most successful people experience doubt. The difference is not the absence of these emotions. The difference is their relationship with them. Fear knocks on everyone's door, but not everyone invites it to become the owner of the house. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel anxiety and still take action. You can feel uncertainty and still trust yourself. Courage has never meant the absence of fear. Courage means refusing to let fear make your decisions. Think about every person you admire, every leader, every innovator, every artist, every athlete, every entrepreneur, every person who changed the world. None of them waited until they felt completely confident. None of them waited until anxiety disappeared. They acted despite uncertainty. They moved despite discomfort. They trusted something greater than their temporary emotions. And that same possibility exists within you. The human spirit is far stronger than most people realize. Yet we rarely discover our strength while hiding from discomfort. Strength is discovered when we walk through discomfort and realize we survived. Every challenge you have overcome has taught you something. Every setback has shaped you. Every difficult season has expanded your capacity. You may not have wanted those experiences, but they contributed to the person you are today. Sometimes we become so focused on avoiding pain that we accidentally avoid growth. We build walls around our hearts. We avoid risks. We shrink our dreams. We stay inside familiar boundaries. And while those choices may provide temporary comfort, they often create long-term regret. Because deep down, every human being wants more than safety. We want meaning. We want purpose. We want connection. We want aliveness. And aliveness requires vulnerability. It requires openness. It requires the willingness to engage fully with life, despite uncertainty. There is something profoundly beautiful about a person who decides to remain open, a person who chooses love despite previous heartbreak, a person who chooses hope despite disappointment, a person who chooses faith despite fear. That kind of courage transforms lives, and it begins with a simple realization. You do not need guarantees. You only need willingness. Willingness to experience life as it unfolds. Willingness to trust yourself. Willingness to remain present. The mind often says, "What if everything goes wrong?" But there is another question we rarely ask. What if everything goes right? What if the opportunity works out? What if the challenge makes you stronger? What if the uncertainty leads to growth? What if the thing you fear becomes the very thing that transforms your life? History is filled with stories that began as setbacks and ended as blessings. People lost jobs and discovered their true calling. People experienced heartbreak and found deeper love. People faced obstacles and uncovered hidden strengths. The future is rarely as predictable as anxiety wants us to believe. That is why living through imagined disasters is such a waste of precious energy. Life deserves more from us. It deserves our attention. It deserves our presence. It deserves our participation. Right now, there are beautiful moments happening around us every day. Conversations, laughter, sunrises, acts of kindness, opportunities to learn, opportunities to grow. Yet anxiety often pulls us away from these moments. It drags our attention into an imaginary future. And while we are busy worrying about tomorrow, we miss today. We miss the very life we are trying to protect. Imagine reaching the end of your life and realizing that many of your fears never happened. Imagine realizing that you spent years preparing for storms that never arrived. Imagine discovering that the moments you worried through were actually moments worth living. That realization should awaken something inside all of us, because time is precious. Every day is precious. Every moment is precious. Life is not an unlimited resource. The hours we spend trapped in unnecessary worry are hours we never get back. This does not mean ignoring responsibilities. It does not mean pretending problems do not exist. It means facing reality without adding unnecessary suffering. Deal with what is real. Release what is imagined. Focus on what is in front of you. Let tomorrow arrive when it arrives. The present moment has always been more powerful than we realize. It is the only place where life actually happens. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, here, now. And when you learn to anchor yourself in this moment, anxiety begins to lose its grip. The stories continue to appear. The thoughts continue to come and go, but they no longer control your experience. You become the observer rather than the prisoner. You become the sky rather than the storm. You begin to understand that peace is not something fragile. It is not something that depends on perfect circumstances. It is a deeper state of being that exists beneath the constant movement of the mind. And once you touch that place within yourself, even briefly, you will never forget it, because you will recognize something familiar. You will recognize home, not a physical place, not an achievement, not a destination, but a state of inner freedom, a state where you no longer need to control every outcome, a state where you no longer need to win every battle, a state where you can simply be. And perhaps that is the greatest gift available to any human being. Not the ability to predict the future, not the ability to eliminate every challenge, but the ability to remain fully alive in the midst of uncertainty, to love despite risk, to hope despite doubt, to trust despite fear, and to continue moving forward with an open heart. Because in the end, life is not asking you to be fearless. Life is asking you to be present. Life is asking you to show up. Life is asking you to trust that you are far more capable than your anxious thoughts would have you believe. And when anxiety comes knocking again, as it surely will, greet it with awareness rather than panic. Let it speak. Listen without surrendering. Observe without identifying. And then gently remind yourself of a truth that has always been there. You are bigger than this moment. You are stronger than this fear. You are deeper than these thoughts. And beneath every storm that passes through your mind, there remains a quiet, unshakable presence that has been waiting for you all along.